taking so much heat? I thought I was a former state rep who going to give Coble Hall in Wayne County. I was in the Detroit City Council. But back to the question. I do believe that the city and the county can work together on certain issues. I do believe that. I do not believe in a reasonable form of government. I believe we can work together to bring green collar jobs to these regions. I believe we can work together to keep our water plant. I believe we can work so the county doesn't have to pay $335 billion for a pipeline. I believe we can work together and put the $15 million in the FLint pipeline and let us be the secondary water source for the county. But when we do that, they owe us $3 to $5 million a year as a secondary source. We work together already in the collection of taxes. I don't believe there should be a conduit for our senior millage money. We run into too many problems with that. I believe that the county and we can work together on buying cement, buying asphalt, and buying supplies, insurance. Around the country, they've done risk management. They work together on a lot of issues that save money, not giving up governmental autonomy. I believe we can work with the county and the GISD and the Board of Education working together to improve our educational system. The GISD is doing very good. They have a lot of talented people. The county has talented people. We can work together as far as education. One of the things that we can do better on is the county is the largest landlord in Genesee County. We need to work more cooperatively to clean up the sites that they own in specific low-income areas in the city of Flint. They need to work harder to become a better landlord. When they tear these houses down, we need to go out and fill these holes quicker, and they need to be a better neighbor to the people that are left in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. Ms. Black.
Thank you very much. We can come together. You know, it's about attitude, being able to sit down at a table and have dialogue. That's what's important. That's where oftentimes we are so at fault because we have so much baggage that we carry around. We can't be civil. We cannot sit down and talk about what is best for both. When you have family disputes, oftentimes families get together and decide what is best for the family. Well, we're a family in Genesee County. We are a family, and we need to be able to just sit down and have dialogue. The attitude now, the mindset is that someone wants to take over the other. We are not in a position to not at least talk about the situation. That's what civil people do. We need to because we both have deficits. You talk, you try to reach a happy medium. It's not about being in control. It's about what can we do for both sides to be able to survive. And in terms of technology, with purchases, with bringing our parks up to par, these are some things that are common. And it doesn't affect elected officials. We are supposed to be working for the community. What is best? Maybe that's what we need to start doing. What does the community need? What is best for the community? Not what's best for me. What do the people need? And dialogue is positive, and I believe that can happen. We're not in the mindset now for the county. It's ridiculous to want to take over the city. That's not the mindset. But mindset is and should be what is best for both entities. What is going to allow us through this difficult time to survive. It's about survival. And that is what I would push as mayor of the city.
Thank you, Mr. Easton.
For 7 years, I overseed an organization that was called Job Central, now called Career Alliance. I managed $20 million a year for 7 years. Those dollars went to City of Flint, Genesee County, and Shiawassee County. I was able to sit down with 2 counties and 1 city and be able to provide services to over 50,000 people and place 20,000 of those people in the jobs. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I have 7 years worth of experience that proves that the city and the county can work together. I think this myth about metropolitan form of government needs to be disbanded. The only thing it does is create a divide. The reality is since 1999, we have lost 50% of our tax-based revenues. The reality is since 1999, we have gone from a population of almost 200,000 down to 115,000 people. Our conditions are different. Our situation is different. Our resources are different. We have to sit down at the table and find common conversation and common ground that will benefit all of us. I do not believe in my heart that if you have an efficient city government and an efficient county government, you will have two efficient governments that can sit down and work out a lot of the problems. There is a relationship that needs to be established on a more profound basis between the city and the county. Reality number one, the city cannot exist without the county, and the county cannot exist without the city. Thank you.
Okay, next question. We're going to start with Mr. Meehan on this one. The question is, what do you think of this idea of closing off certain sections of the city, dilapidated neighborhoods and so forth, in order to save money on services? What's your take on that idea, Mr. Meehan?
In short, I do not believe that we should shrink the city of Flint. Now, where did that idea come from? The county. Shrinking the city of Flint. That idea came from the county. Now, I don't believe that we should shrink our city because we talk about bringing families back to this community. One of the ways that you refinance a community such as Flint is to attract new families from property taxes. Now, we have to attract new families, and how do we do that? We have to reduce crime, develop a better educational system for our young people in this community, and we'll attract new families to this community. Also, we have to talk about the 2010 census count. Now, since I answered that question already, I'm going to go into this because this is very important for you all to understand. Part of the money that we receive in this community is from revenue sharing from the federal government and also the state. Right now, currently Flint is a tier 1 city because we have a count over 100,000. Now, if we go under 100,000 in our count, we become a tier 2 city. What happens? We lose our fair share of money for education, money for roads, money for schools. That does not strengthen our position. We have not even begun to prepare for that. Why? The federal government only deals with the highest elected official in the city of Flint. We have none. We have none. So what do they want to do? They want to talk about ideas like shrinking our city instead of bringing back people to this community. They want to talk about budget cuts rather than additional revenue streams. That is not acceptable. You, the residents of this community, deserve much better. Much better. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wall.
I'm against the idea. As I've gone door to door talking to people all across the city, and I'm not sure about the folks who have said they like this idea or what, but I've walked down the blocks where there may only be a couple homeowners left. They can be young, they can be old. They're folks who still care deeply about this city. They're here because they want to be here. Most of them have had opportunities at different points in their life to be somewhere else. And I believe that a mayor has a responsibility to honor the wishes of the people who live and work in the community. This is not about doing internet searches for ideas or organizations somewhere else. It's about starting with the power that we have right here within ourselves. And I've proposed that we will go neighborhood by neighborhood all across the city to develop neighborhood action plans that you as citizens will drive forward. You'll identify your strategic priorities, the action items that you want to see accomplished by the basic services through City Hall, and we'll together work on going down that list. I know from my conversations that there will be some blocks that are interested in more demolitions. There are some other blocks that are interested in more renovations. There's other blocks who are concerned about the empty school building that's at the end of their neighborhood or block that they otherwise think is a really stable place, but they keep having to look at that big empty building. Those are the issues that we have to deal with, but we deal with them one by one, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block, and we don't get ourselves wrapped up into these crazy ideas because they happen to get splashed into the newspaper. We've got to do real community work in this city again. We haven't had that neighborhood approach for a long time.
Number one, I totally disagree with closing off parts of the city with 1 or 2 houses. I have family members there. And I go down there and they have gardens, children play. When you look at ideas and philosophical concepts that deal with urban planning, you need to see exactly what Mayor Williams said. He stated this, he said it very plainly. He said if there's one house left on the block, we will try to convince them to move. If they don't move, we will provide them the same or better services as if there was a house on every block. We get these urban concepts, they only give us excerpts. The guy's a brilliant man. You need to read some of his great material. These are the things that we need to, a public official should bring you the truth. It's not part of the truth. We shouldn't use scare tactics about moving people out. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is eminent domain. We don't invoke eminent domain in residential areas where people have been there all their lives. The land bank needs to sell more than just one lot to people who have lived in neighborhoods for years. Sell them several lots. If you travel that neighborhood like you say you do, you would know that people have gardens, they have horseshoe pits, they have swimming pools, they do a lot with these properties. We can do a lot. They have urban gardens. See what other communities do. They have urban gardens, they have playgrounds for kids. They do a lot of different things that add a steady value to a once decaying area. We need to go down there and we need to look. We always want to tear down and relocate. And there's a code word he used too. Let's not move them out and put in homes with longer driveways.
All right, Ms. Clapp.
Thank you, and I agree. We should not institute a fear tactic. It is just not, it's not right for this community. I think because of the bad economic times and it's really taking off negatively, that is not right. You know, I'm from the South, I'm from Tennessee. And my father and mother and grandparents always said, if you get a hold of some land, you hold on to it. And we know that in many families, if you have nothing, you hold on to that land. Even there have been times there have been disputes among family members because no one wanted to sell off their land. And that is the way that I approach this issue. You hold on to what you have. I believe that this city is going to rebuild itself. It is going to come back. And children who left their parents' homes and their family homes, they want to come back to this city because this is home. And what's going to make them come back is the type of administration I'm going to have. With the job situation, the rebuilding of the city, they're going to want to come back. So we're not going to dispose of all of this vacant land. It is important to hold on to what you have, to believe in the ideals of retrieving, of rebuilding, of stabilizing, and that is what this community needs. The other point I want to make, a lot of the, and as I knock on doors, I found that some neighborhoods, whole families live on the street. Mom may live across the street, but the daughter has purposely got a house across the street. The son may be down the street. They did it for a reason, to come together as a family. So you aren't going to move a whole family like that. So what we need to do is talk about stabilizing. We need to talk about revitalizing our neighborhoods and keeping our families together to make their families stronger, to make this community stronger. That's what we're about now. And that is what I believe is the potential of us in this city. We are resilient and we will survive.
Ms. Dreesen.
I believe in my heart that when Mike Brown made the statement about roping off the community, I don't believe that was with malintent. I do believe that maybe he was not sensitive to how that may be received by a community who is already in fear. The fact of the matter is, no matter how much talking we do, we've gone from a population of 200,000 to somewhere between 100 and 115,000. So our community is not as large as it used to be. We're going to have to rethink our community because General Motors will never be in FLint, Michigan, what it has been for well over 100 years. I seriously doubt if we're going to have the kind of job volume that we've had, but it doesn't mean that we can't change. What we need to do now, and this is a golden opportunity, is what I've been saying from day one. We need to establish a master plan for this city. We need a land use policy that will allow us to be able to effectively take a look at all of the land inside of the city of Flint to see how we use that land right now and to see how we can most effectively and more appropriately use that land in the future. That has nothing to do with shrinking the city. What it has to do is rethinking our community and right-sizing it to our conditions that we have today. I believe that there will be growth in the city of Flint, Michigan, but it will not be at the level that it has been. So we're going to have to right-size our community. We need a master plan to guide us that will help direct the resources. This is not about the county. This is not about land bank. This is about a community that over the last 20 years have had some changes.
Okay, I think when you talk about this question, this comment, and I seen Dan Kildee, who graduated with me from Northern in 1976, expound on it on Newsmaker. When Dan Kildee talked about it on Newsmaker, my reports tell me then Mike Brown talked about it. And I bet the Journal can verify that. So when you look at the land bank and Dan Kildee talking about that, my classmate, Northern 76, when I see him, I say, "What's up, 76?" He say, "What's up, 76?" He looking at the land bank and that length. But when I look at land and shrinking, I'm gonna ask a question. If the land is on this side, close to Mount Morris Township, who gets it, Beecher? If it's over there and we shrink it, who gets it, Burton? When you got land in one house and you knock it down, you're not shrinking the city, you just create vacant land. I don't think we shrinking the city, but I'm not in agreement with it the way they're talking about. I'm not shutting down services. So if they talking about shutting down the city, I'm talking about opening it up. Now, what if you got 5 lots together on Russell Street? I like Russell Street, I love the north side. And then I built me a house, so many square feet big, flat screens everywhere, nice as heck. People will follow suit. You see that house May's got over there? But people won't build it because they're scared it's gonna stand out and somebody gonna break into it. I ain't scared because I already live on Russell Street. So you gotta understand what leadership is. And you got to listen close to solutions. And then you set examples and people follow.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Okay, we're gonna try to get one more question before closing statements. The trick with this one is it's 1 minute answers. 1 minute. Okay, last question. There have been concerns about the attention given to downtown versus the neighborhoods. How do you build up a great downtown people are going to want to come to without ignoring your neighborhoods that also need help? Mr. Wilder, start with you.
All right, there's two important parts to this for me. One of them is, I've said, when I've talked about these neighborhood plans, we've talked about those being from the community and building up, identifying opportunities, the services you need in your neighborhood. One of those things, in addition to the police mini station in every ward, is that there'll be a neighborhood business center. And we'll leverage the same kinds of things that made downtown start to be successful again. New streets, new sidewalks, lighting, trash cans, benches, all of those great improvements we need to do in all 9 parts of our city. So that's how we take the positive energy of downtown and we spread it all around this community. The other thing is, my vision for downtown is not only Saginaw Street. It's a campus commons that stretches from my community college to Kettering University and encompasses those near downtown neighborhoods. Because what we really need, not just in Flint, but for this whole region, is a 21st century core that brings together people of all ages.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blount. Mr. Buchanan.
Here again, you just can't separate the development of downtown and the community. If you must understand section 108 and